4-6 road trip, the Royals return home with a bigger lead in the Central than when they left. Now they come home to the passion and the raucous crowds of Kauffman Stadium. It's the Royals and White Sox next. Academy Sports and Outdoors presents Royals Baseball. Tonight from Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, it's game one of a three-game series between the Chicago White Sox and the Kansas City Royals. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physiak. This is Rex Hudler. Life is good when you go 4-6 on a road trip, Hud, and you gain 2 games.
Are you going to get me started already? What a beautiful thing. The baseball gods are smiling all over Kauffman Stadium and those Kansas City Royals. That don't get any better.
How about Eddie Volquez going tonight, and he has pitched very well his last 6 starts.
Speaking of better, how can he get much better? That action he's got on his pitches is really a beautiful thing. Look at how it's down in the zone. And look who he gets to throw to. Salvador Perez. He's the best quarterback there is for a catcher in the league. But look at that. The execution of pitches is defining Volquez as really the number 1 or 2 starter. He's been solid.
How about our Academy leaderboard about John Danks? This is a guy who is 9-1 against Kansas City, and it's the changeup that has haunted the Royals.
That's one of the best pitches a lefty can have when he's facing an aggressive lineup. Is because they're going to swing, and they're going to have to make some adjustments on Johnny Danks, or they're going to be in trouble again. This guy owns them.
John Danks, Edinson Volquez, the Royals and White Sox, game 1 of a 3-game series. When we come back, Joel and Toby Cook will talk the broadcast auction.
And we've got much more, from bats to bobbleheads to guitars. Yes, the HDH group, they can be electric, and now you can get yourself an electric guitar. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. Joel Goldberg alongside of Royals Vice President Toby Cook. This is always a really fun night Guys raised 6 figures, over $100,000 last year. Tell us where the money goes to for Royals Charities.
Royals Charities, Joel, really took a jump when the Glass family bought the team in 2000. We've given away millions of dollars, primarily to youth education, youth baseball, softball, and the military, and then just about every not-for-profit group that you can imagine around Kansas City. If there's a tragedy that strikes, Royals Charities is there. Otherwise, we do good things for good people on behalf of the Glass family and a Major League Baseball team.
Well, let's talk about some of the items that will be up for bid. They're big-time items, and there's a lot of creativity and fun here, too.
Yeah, the top-selling item the last several years has been the George Brett Experience, a dinner for 4. We're always also very happy to have current players that give their time to meet fans. We have an Alex Gordon meet and greet, which includes an opportunity to watch batting practice and some tickets. The big one that we're going to run into early on in this broadcast auction bidding is the World Series bat collection, where we have both hitters and pitchers who obviously either could have batted or did bat in the World Series last year. We have up to a ton of those guys, including the HDH, Kelvin Herrera, Wade Davis, and Greg Holland signing bats. Royals All-Star Package is the special batting practice all-star jersey from all the guys that made it to Cincinnati. HDH guitar meet and greet, the broadcast experience, an Instagram with Salvador Perez, and a bobblehead shadow box and meet and greet with the very guys that are on the bobblehead.
816-504-4040. There are also ticket packages online. And we also have Steady Eddie taking the hill. First pitch is next.
Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by your Kansas City Chevy dealers. Visit your local Chevy dealers for great prices on all our new 2015 vehicles today. Royals fans delighted their team is back in town. Robin Ventura's lineup will have Adam Eaton at the top, then Tyler Saladino, Jose Abreu, Melky Cabrera, and just about all these guys have been hot since the All-Star break, Hud.
Yes, they have. But they've got to be able to figure out Volquez, especially with runners in scoring position. He has been nails. A 175 batting average with those runners in scoring position. That's third lowest in the American League. He's been tough, and he does it with a fastball, 2 and 4 seam. He'll reach 95, but he's comfortable around 93. That's his average pitch on that fastball, changeup, and a curve.
Eden hitting .375 since the All-Star break. Sprays one foul. White Sox come in at 51 and 55. They're fourth place in the American League Central, but crawling back 11.5 games back of Kansas City. And the Royals have really humbled the White Sox this year, winning 7 of the 10 meetings.
Volquez gets extreme depth on his changeup and his curve. He lives down in the bottom of the zone. He's going good. He's executing everything at the knees and below. And then when you have success on hitters working down there, then you use that four-seam fastball about belt high, a little above the belt. That's a good strikeout pitch for him.
The opponents are only batting .168 off of his changeup this year. Eden is a tough strikeout. He is a guy who will fight you tooth and nail to get on base. And during that stretch since the All-Star break, not only batting .375, but his on-base percentage is almost .500. Left field, Zobrist has it measured. 1 out. And how about our defense presented by Ford?
Ben Zobrist, his first start at Kauffman Stadium with the Royals. How about that? Good to see him out there. And of course, he, like the rest of his outfield partners, Locane and Rios, love the spacious outfield where they can get up underneath most balls that have a lot of air underneath them when they're hit out there. And there's their quarterback. He's their leader. Look at him, like a traffic cop directing traffic.
And I would imagine this is a tough guy to defend. Tyler Saladino. The Royals don't have much on him. He's only been in the big leagues for a month, but boy, did he play well when the Royals were in Chicago.
Yeah, and what we saw in that series is he didn't see a fastball he didn't like. He loves that.
Well, there's a good fastball at 95 miles an hour. Saladino hitting .253 in the big leagues after hitting .255 in the minor leagues.
You know, Fizz, when you get to the majors, the pitches are more around the strike zone. That's the one thing I noticed when I spent 10 years in the minors and I got to the majors. Those guys in the minors, they throw hard, but they don't know where it's going. So up here, these pitchers are more polished, and so they throw more strikes. So sometimes it's easier to hit up here for some guys.
Well, Saladino with an excellent series against Kansas City. He went 6 for 16 against the Royals, including hitting a home run that broke up a shutout by Kansas City's Danny Duffy in the last game of that series.
Oh.
In there, strike 3 called.
Volquez, he's coming out throwing fastballs tonight. He's really hitting his spots, and this pitch is perfect. You can't hit that. And Saladino, you got to go.
He started throwing that two-seam fastball a lot more last year with Pittsburgh and wound up with a strong season, 13-7, and he has 10 wins already with Kansas City. Now Jose Abreu, the dangerous one, hitting .350, 5 home runs his last 16 games to lift that average a little closer to 300. Last year he had MVP type numbers. He was the first rookie in Major League history to finish in the top 5 in the league in each Triple Crown category, hitting .317 with 36 home runs and driving in 107.
Well, the difference between Abreu and Saladino is where Abreu played in that Cuban league, that's like the big leagues. That's why he's been so successful here.
A big strong man at 260 pounds and tremendous power to the opposite field. It seemed like he was in a pull mode when we pitched to him in Chicago. And that's why his career against the Royals not nearly as strong as the rest of baseball, over 300 average.
He's excellent at going to the opposite field. Recently, he's been shooting that right center field gap.
Right now, Volquez has not given anyone a comfortable at bat. He had Abreu reaching for that pitch.
Whenever you see a big guy like this that hits for a high average, that means he's not running it. He's not getting infield hits. He's staying inside the ball using the whole field.
Volquez misses upstairs with the off speed.
Yeah, he didn't like that delivery there. Volquez is going to take a little time, walk off the back of the mound. That changeup is not where he wants to leave that up in the zone. He's usually used to executing that pitch down and into righties.
Broken back ground ball, Moustakas. 3 up, 3 down for Chicago in their half of the first, and here comes Kansas City with Escobar to lead it off.
And he looks good tonight.
Royals at 34-18. Only the Astros have a higher mark at 38-18, but KC will take winning 65% of their home games. Ned Yost's lineup will start things with Alcides Escobar, who's batting .275. Then Ben Zobrist, who was acquired last week before the trade deadline. Lorenzo Cain, and then 2 hot guys, Hosmer and Morales, averaged over 400 on that last road trip. And John Danks is the Chicago pitcher. We told you 9-1 in his career against Kansas City. Meantime, very pedestrian numbers, 6-8 with a 4.8 ERA this year.
You know, he's a lefty. The Royals are hitting .271 off lefties. That's in the top 5 in the American League. So they haven't really had a lot of trouble against lefties, but for Danks, for some reason, they haven't been able to make adjustments on him.
And Escobar goes after the first pitch and fouls it off. Strike 1.
He's got a fastball, changeup combination. Those are his 2 main pitches. And he'll cut the fastball in on righties, and he's got some curveballs that he'll feature to lefties and occasionally to right-handers.
Coming off a good start against the Yankees. Beat New York 8-2. And in that game, he struck out 8 batters in just 5 2/3 innings. But we watched a little bit of that game, Hud, and I just remember how hard he competed against the Yankees.
He's a battler. Look at that, back-to-back curveballs on the outer half. He's effectively wild at times, and he's taking advantage over the past of the aggression of the Royals hitters, how aggressive they are. So the Royals might want to make sure to try to make him throw strikes tonight. That might be an adjustment that they can make. Talking with Dale Swain before the game about why Danks has had so much dominance over the righties. He says, well, we haven't made adjustments on him. And what that means is they're swinging at everything. They're not picking out one or the other. He's mainly fastball, changeup. So go up there and look for one and spit on the other one.
Well, he's thrown a couple of curves to Alcides Escobar, and there's Dale Swain, the Royals hitting coach, right next to Eric Hosmer.
throws a lot of changeups. 29.5% are changeups. So sometimes you might want to go up there looking for that pitch if it's out over the middle.
Once again, Escobar reaching for the off speed, whether it's the curve or the changeup, and Esky fighting it off.
Recently, a couple of starts ago, the Royals faced the Tigers pitcher lefty named Matt Boyd, and Matt Boyd was successful getting his first major league win against the Royals because of his fastball changeup combination. He was throwing high fastballs, and the Royals were flying out all night. They couldn't get on top of it, and then he would mix in the changeups, and it just had him off balance. Ooh.
And there is a beautifully thrown fastball at 92 miles an hour for strike 3. How about the White Sox defense?
Tyler Flowers we have highlighted. He's got a good arm, but he hasn't had a lot of help with his pitchers getting that ball to him quickly, so his throwing out percentage is 11.9. He's a good catcher, though, and he's got a little pop in his bat.
And the Royals have had success stealing bases off Flowers this year, and consequently winning 7 of 10 games. Here is Ben Zobrist. He's in the 2 spot with Mike Moustakas moving to the 6th position, so the Royals have a little power later, and they have a very good on-base percentage guy hitting in the 2 hole at 35%. Zobrist to left center field, playable for Eaton, 2 out. And now we will see our Honda most trusted player, and that's Lorenzo Cain, who has terrific numbers against the White Sox this season.
Well, Lorenzo Cain in that Detroit series wasn't exactly hot, but he might just turn that switch on now. You never know, but we're hoping, as Lorenzo Cain has really done well against lefties this year.
He had a single in the 9th inning yesterday, and that broke an 0 for 14 slide he'd been in. Right now hitting .304, and he whacks that one down the line. Into the corner it goes. He'll have 2, and waiting for it to come around to him. Well, Cain's not stopping at second, going for 3. He's in there with a triple, and I'll be honest with you, Hud, Melky Cabrera was very slow to the ball in left field.
Lorenzo Cain with his 6th triple on the season. There he is. I had a feeling he would check in, especially hitting .352 off lefties this year, and he really drove it. And you're right, Fizz. Melky Cabrera took his time going down there playing that carom, and Melky knows this ballpark. He played out here as a Royal, but Lorenzo Cain said, you know what, I got plenty of energy, it's early, and I'm going to take 3 on you.
So with Cain at third, the batter is Eric Hosmer. Flowers has to be able to block that changeup in the dirt. Hosmer goes after the first pitch and pops it up right side. Over comes the second baseman well, he was trying to call off Abreu, but Abreu will make the catch, and Cain will be left stranded at third. $99. 4 outfield plaza tickets for either Tuesday, August 11th, T-shirt Tuesday, Royals versus Tigers, or Saturday, August 15th. That's retro night, Royals versus Angels, or Wednesday, August 26th, Royals versus Orioles. A parking pass, an autograph photo, and it's going to be awfully special. Just for $99. All the proceeds, of course, go to Royals charities. Now Volquez to face Melky Cabrera. And Steve Physiak along with Rex Hudler. We are joined by Hall of Famer George Brett, and you've got this great dinner that you're going to have for 4, auction it off, and it was fantastic last year.
Well, it's a lot of fun. I bring Jason Kendall and John Wathan with me. We go to Capitol Grill. We have a private room. We have adult beverages. We have
shocker,
maybe the best steak in town, and we have a lot of baseball chatter, and it's a lot of fun. We've done it like 3 or 4 years in a row now.
And there goes Melky Cabrera down the left field line, and Ben Zobrist will hold him to 2. But I talked to Duke, oh my gosh, this must have been 3 months ago, and he talked about that experience and how much fun you had and how much laughter there was, and you told a lot of great stories.
Well, Duke always likes dinner when he doesn't have to pay for it, so it is a free dinner. Basically, the Royals pick it up. And I had Rex at dinner one night at Capitol Grill, and we had a pretty good time, didn't we?
Are you kidding?
Did we have a good time?
One of the highlight dinners of my life.
Yeah, it was great. It was my son's 20th birthday or 19th birthday.
How much fun.
And Dylan, my middle son, loves Rex. He just thinks he's the greatest
Shocker.
broadcaster in the world. And he always comes out with all these stories that,
Shock the house.
Aisle 9, clean up on aisle 9 or something like that.
I haven't used that one in a while.
Yeah. You used it the other day.
Well, look.
Used it the other day when Davis got out of the 8th inning.
Sometimes you got to have a cleanup.
But we surprised Dylan by bringing Rex at dinner with us, and we just had a wonderful time. But there's just a lot of fun. We talk, it's open house. They can ask any questions they want, and we all have a really, really fun time. People have bought it before from L.A. They've actually seen the broadcast in L.A., and the guy bought it and flew out here with his family. He's from here, but he lives there now. And he thought it'd become fun to come out here, see his family, go out and have dinner with us, and then go see his family afterwards. But it's been a good time.
Well, Cabrera at second base. Garcia is the batter, and he, along with everybody else in that White Sox lineup, has been hot. 3 for 7 his last 2 games, and 2 of those hits were home runs. But George, was there a favorite question you received from the fans during the well, perhaps a question you couldn't answer?
You always get the Pine Tar experience, and that's kind of everywhere I go. That's what we talk about. But a lot of it was, tell me the difference between the 76 team and the 77 team and maybe the 85 team that won the World Series. We went to the playoffs so often, and yet the 85 team on paper was not the best team. It kind of reminded me of this team last year. Just tremendous camaraderie. The guys really stood up for one another, had everybody's back, and you kind of explained stuff like that. But to have Jason and John Wathan, John played for the organization, he coached for the organization, he broadcast for the organization, and Jason, he just got the most unbelievable personality of any player I've ever been around. You guys know Jason extremely well. Nice. I mean, he's just a lot of fun to be with.
It's a beauty.
Like I said, it's a good steak. It's all the vegetables, it's all the potatoes, and it's all the adult beverages you can ask for in one night.
Volquez with the 3-1. Garcia will take a strike. It's a 3-2 count. And it is interesting how teams come together. When we were playing Toronto, I was visiting with Buck Martinez, and he said, we were charging, we were learning about each other, but he told me a story about getting Hal McRae, and Hal McRae came in, he said, you guys, statistics, nothing matters. The only thing that matters was winning. And he kind of injected us with what was taking place with the Big Red Machine where he came from.
Well, I was fortunate because Hal got here a year before I did, or I got here the same year, but I didn't play much that year. But Hal had a tremendous influence on my career. And I remember sitting in the locker room for an hour after every game, just discussing the game, discussing everyone's at bats, and I started doing that after Hal left. We'd have a close game and you'd lose 2-1 or 3-2 or 9-8, and I'd go over all my at-bats, all my plays in the field, and I would say, what could I have done different? And try to learn from that stuff. And you'd sit in the locker room and you'd just try to figure it out. Okay, what could I have done different to maybe change the outcome of that game? And that's what we used to do, and I think that's what the Reds used to do. when Hal was on that great team with Bench and Morgan and Perez and Concepcion and, you know, all those other guys, and it really made us a better ball club.
So Volquez is able to get Garcia on a ground ball to second. Meantime, Cabrera takes third, and the batter will be Adam LaRoche.
George, I was fortunate in my career to have some excellent hitting coaches. Rod Carew, Don Baylor, and Hal McRae on 2 teams.
Wow.
And you know how Mac helped me the most was being a pinch hitter. You know, I didn't know a lot about it. And he said,
either do I.
Right, well, you played every day.
Right.
And I just rode the pine for 9 most of the time, but whenever I got up there, he said, you got to swing at the first pitch. I don't care where it is.
First pitch fastball.
Yeah, because you're going to gauge your swing on his pitch.
Right.
You're going to have more success in your 1 time up a week or whatever you get. That 1 time, it's the hardest job in the world. But he really focused. He helped me. He would carry home plate around, and he would set home plate, and he would set 3 baseballs on home plate. And one on the inside, 1 in the middle, and 1 on the outside. And he said, you take the same swing on every pitch. And he was very helpful for me.
Yeah, well, Hal, you know, that's one of the things that he used to do with the guys that did pinch hit. Fortunately, I was an everyday player. I never had to pinch hit, but I remember after games, and a guy would take a fastball right down the middle, first pitch as a pinch hitter, and Hal would just go crazy. He would say, no, you got to swing at that first pitch fastball that you see for a strike, regardless if it's in, regardless if it's away. You can't go up there and look for a certain pitch in a certain zone. You just got to be ready to hit that first fastball he throws.
Hey, how would you hit?
And all of a sudden, that's what guys started doing. They became better pinch hitters.
George, what would your approach be on Volquez?
It wouldn't be any different than anybody else.
Okay.
It would not be any different.
Look for a mistake.
I'm going to look fastball every pitch, and if it's away and my fundamentals are there, I'm going to hit a ball to left center field or left field. If it's middle, I'm going to hit the ball to left center, right center, or center, and if it's in, I'm going to pull it. But you know, my theory was, if you're looking off speed, you're not going to hit a fastball. And pitchers will make mistakes, and if you can stay with your fundamentals and just stay through the ball and not try to do more than you're capable of, it doesn't matter who's pitching.
Well, fans, it's now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo using hashtag KCDataStrong, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Well, Volquez just got a critical out with a runner at third base and only 1 out, getting LaRoche on a pop-up to left field that Zobrist took care of, so it'll be left up to Alexi Ramirez. He's only batting .236, but hitting .284 with 5 home runs since the All-Star break. So another hot hitter in that Sox lineup.
How many games are the Sox out now?
11 and a half.
11 and a half.
George, how do you feel about seeing relevancy in baseball in Kansas City here? And
it's crazy.
And the energy and the crowds.
It's
every
unbelievable.
night.
You know, just yesterday I was doing a talk to the Kansas Bankers Association in Broadmoor. I don't know. Have you ever been to the Broadmoor?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. I've never been there. It's the most beautiful place in the country, I think. And at the end of the thing, I thanked everybody for inviting me. And then I also thanked, because it was all Kansas bankers from all over the state, and I thank them for their support, because it's amazing how wherever you go, at the Colorado Springs Airport today, people that were flying from Colorado to Denver, Denver to Kansas City, everybody's wearing Royal stuff. Wherever I go, when I'm flying out of Kansas City or flying into Kansas City, the Royals are so predominant in the outfits everybody's wearing. It's absolutely crazy. And one of the things I talked about at the end of the talk that I gave was, you know, as a player, you really don't realize what's going on, because you're in the locker room at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and you leave at 11:30 at night, you know. And last year, and even the year before, you could start seeing at the end of the year, but last year, coming to the ballpark at 5 o'clock, 5:30 or 6 o'clock, and all of a sudden, everywhere you go, you see everybody in town wearing Royal stuff.
Yep.
And just how this organization and this team has made everybody feel so much better about themselves, and I think it's throughout the whole state of Kansas. And when I said that, these people from, you know, all over the small towns in Kansas, they all came up to me and said, it's pretty amazing, George, how many people in Garden City wear Royal stuff now that they never did before. So it's pretty cool what the Royal organization has done for the state of Kansas.
Can we be part of your lunch?
It's a dinner. It's a dinner.
You got to pay, Fizz.
It's a dinner.
Fox Sports Kansas City. I'm Toby Cook out in the Fox Sports Kansas City set out in left field, and I get a chance to sell some of these items that we're going to be selling and bidding, helping you to bid on, including some great ticket packages to raise money for Royals charities. We're glad to have you here, as Royals Charities helps a whole lot of groups, and we will continue to let you know about the events that are going to transpire right up to about the 5th inning, and then we'll sell. We want to tell you about the Alex Gordon meet and greet, which is one of the items that is up for bid on the broadcast auction. Guys, I'll turn it over to you for a second.
Thank you very much, Toby, as Kendrys Morales flies out to center field. And I mean, this is a great experience, this Alex Gordon meet and greet, and it includes 4 batting practice passes, 4 Crown Club seats, 1 parking pass. Outstanding. And once again, Toby, Royals Charities is all about giving back to youth education, youth sports programs. You were talking earlier about military support. It all goes to nonprofit charities, and a great program we all work for.
Well, it's a big deal for us to invade your broadcast for a night, and this is one of the great items. Alex has been as supportive as anybody on the club since he was drafted by the team. I was standing here in one of my very first opening days as a Royals associate when he came up to bat for the first time, and ever since then he's been doing great things.
Moustakas goes to center field, and that's the second out, but a great job by Volquez that last inning, Hud, when Cabrera got the leadoff double, went to third on the ground out. But Volke really bowed his neck, something you were talking about earlier. What does he do with runners in scoring position? And they were 0 for 3.
He executes his best pitches. That's what most aces or top of the line starters do. And as a result, he's given up just a 175 batting average with runners in scoring position. That's 3rd lowest. An excellent job executing his pitches when he had to. Now, back to Alex Gordon for a quick second. You're not going to meet a more humble, genuine big league star. He's fantastic. He's worth every bit the opportunity for the meet and greet.
And I'm sure there will be a lot of bids on that great Alex Gordon meet and greet. It is outstanding. Right now, a 0-0 game going to the 3rd. Stadium, White Sox and Royals game 1 of a 3-game series. Let's go to Toby Cook, who wants to talk about the World Series bat collection.
Yeah, as a part of the broadcast auction, we had several bats that were signed by the guys that were on the 2014 World Series team. Most of them are hitters, of course, but we did have some pitchers. They got to bat in the World Series, and these signed bats, including the one that I was just holding up from Eric Hosmer, Lorenzo Cain, and all those, even a couple of them that were on the team last year that aren't this year, Nori Aoki and Billy Butler. This is an entire collection, 11 position players, one signed by the entire 2014 rotation, and The Rockstar bullpen of HDH. That's a great item, and you know what? Couldn't add it last year or the year before because we didn't go to the World Series. Now we have the World Series bat collection.
Sweet.
Well, I want that HDH bat. That's pretty special with the job that Herrera, Davis, and Holland did to help this team win the American League Championship last year. And a lot of teams modeling now their bullpens, Rex, after what the Royals did last year.
Sure are. And not just that, but how do you win games with not a lot of power?
Carlos Sanchez is the batter. Fouls one off. It's a 1-2 count.
You frenzy hit. You execute. You steal bases. You play a little small ball.
Royals with a little more power this year with 85 home runs, just 10 shy of their total last year. Sanchez goes to right field. Rios is there near the track to pull it down for out number 1.
Boy, hitters, they're going to love the carry on the ball tonight here at the K. Nice little breeze out there. Beautiful humidity out there. Not over hot. I mean, it's not way too hot tonight, but certainly is good hitting weather.
Supposed to be a little warmer tomorrow, and of course a 6 o'clock start, and it will be Guthrie against Samardzija. And just drifting out a little bit towards left. The batter is Tyler Flowers. 7 home runs, 28 driven in. This is a guy who can hit a fastball, so you see him seeing a lot of breaking pitches or changeups. That time a fastball well located.
Well, in the last series when the Royals were in Chicago, Flowers was having a hard time catching up on high fastballs. So maybe that's changed now, but at least then he was behind him. They were blowing him by him.
That ball is smoked up the middle by Flowers.
Okay, not
and
that time.
It was on a fastball.
Yeah, not that time. He shortened up his swing. He made some adjustments. Sometimes you take a big swing on that, you miss. But watch how he takes his hands right to the ball here on a ball down the middle. Oh, that's a nice feel when you're a hitter. When you hit that ball right back where it came from. With some pretty good hit velocity off of that bat, I'm sure. Most of the time, on a fastball, I'll tell you, maybe 100% of the time, 90, the hit speed is a lot greater than what it's coming in at.
Now Adam Eaton, who flied out to left field his first time up. That's to Hosmer. Nice play by Eric, and then goes into left field. That will allow Flowers to reach. And Eric knew he made a mistake. He had plenty of time, Hud, because Flowers was still a good 20 feet from the bag.
Oh, well, the way Steady Eddie executes with a runner in scoring position, I think Volquez would have much rather he saved a double there and second and third with that tremendous footwork by Hosmer than just having to make this play. Just held on to the ball a little bit long, and you could see where the runner was right in his throwing path. So he had a little bit longer, but certainly he'll take the play saving the double.
Indeed, because opponents are just 3 for their last 37 against Volquez with runners in scoring position. That covers his last 7 games. And there's a good off-speed pitch in the outside corner thrown to Tyler Saladino. Starts him off with the hook.
If you're going to score a run here with Flowers, especially being a catcher not having great speed, you better really be short with your swing and just try to place it wherever it's pitched, just like George was talking about.
Center field stays up for Lorenzo Cain, who makes the catch, and once again Volquez excellent with runners in scoring position. needed help. Stephanie brought parenting children with special needs to Kansas City, dedicated to enhancing the quality of life to families who have a child with special needs. The organization provides individual grants to help families and give the child a better quality of life. With Stephanie tonight is her family, including her son and source of inspiration, Braden, who has been in the hospital the last 2 weeks but was able to join them for the game tonight. Way to go, Braden, right there.
Yes,
Mama's lap.
Thank you, Stephanie. Way to reach out, help families that need a lot of encouragement.
And with this being our broadcast auction tonight, Royals charities. I know, Rex, you've got a charity that is near and dear to your heart, Team Up for Down Syndrome.
Yep, and it's a lot of fun to be able to hang out with parents and kids and celebrate the differences that these kids have, and they make a huge contribution in society, whether it's in their schools or in their workplace or wherever these kids end up being. It's a lot of fun to watch them grow, and how the rest of the population, including the school children, accept these kids with their differences now. It's so much different than it used to be. So it's a lot better atmosphere for kids with disabilities.
Well, you and your wife Jennifer have done a great job in not only the Southern California community but here in Kansas City, as Alex Rios steps to the plate, and he now has a 2-2 count. He's done pretty good against his old ball club. 10 for 25 this year, and both of his home runs have come against the White Sox. Swing and a miss on a good breaking ball, and that is strikeout number 2 for John Danks. Let's go to Toby.
Hey guys, out here at the Fox Sports Kansas City desk as we continue our broadcast auction. Royals charities, we just saw the buck seat person a few minutes ago. We do that kind of thing. We also raise a bunch of money and give it away. And if you look at the board that we have out here at our set, the George Brett Experience jumped up to $10,000. So we've already hit that 5 digits. We're doing pretty well with that one, and we could use some help with the others. That's terrific. The next one we want to highlight, personalized batting practice All-Star jerseys from the historic number of Royals who made it to the All-Star game in Cincinnati this year. From all your Royals stars, Salvador Perez, Alcides Escobar, Lorenzo Cain, Alex Gordon, Wade Davis, Kelvin Herrera, and Mike Moustakas, all-star batting practice jerseys. They had the time of their lives. You can too. You can bid on it during the Royals Charities broadcast auction.
Thank you very much, Toby, and they are absolutely great. And I expect that bid on George's dinner to go up, because George Brett and John Wathen are 2 of the greatest storytellers in our community. I mean, and that's a blast, just to be able to tell your friends, hey, guess who I had dinner with last night?
That's pretty awesome. That's certainly great royalty.
Infante fouls it back, a 2-2 count. His one home run came on the road trip in Cleveland on July 27th, and he hit it over the big wall left field in Cleveland. But Danks works him upstairs with a fastball at 91, and Danks continues to control the Royals. Our DraftKings players to watch: Lorenzo Cain 1 for 1 tonight with a triple. That's good news. Saladino 0 for 2 thus far. Torrey Hunter, he keeps it going. Old Man River, 2 more stakes, and Iwakuma, last 5 starts, he's been outstanding since coming back from that injury.
Only time I don't pull for Torrey Hunter is when he's playing the Royals.
Yeah, he's a tough guy to pull against. I mean, impossible. I even had a treat just watching him explode when we were up there last time, and almost take off all his clothes and throw them at the umpire.
I got a little tizzy.
Well, you know, I really felt, and Hud, you know this, where he knew the club was playing poorly, and he wanted to let them know, I'll do anything it takes to help you guys win. Are you with me? But he got suspended a little bit.
Sure he did.
Escobar 0 for 1, struck out looking after a long duel with Danks. And like you said, Hud, he's been working the Royals down with the change, up with the fastball. And he strikes him out. Down low. Cut fastball.
Royals Charities broadcast auction is a part of the regular Fox Sports Kansas City broadcast. Toby Cook out here on the Fox Sports Kansas City set. During this broadcast auction, I will tell you that the George Brett experience jumped up to $15,000. We could use some movement on the other ones, and I want to tell you about a great one here that has everything to do with Salvador Perez and his personality. The guy that got the game-winning hit in the wild card game last year against the Oakland A's. This is a meet and greet with Salvador Perez and 4 batting practice passes, 4 dugout box tickets, and 1 parking pass. We're calling this the Instagram with Salvi because he will insta you all over the place. It's a great item, and we love having the involvement from our current players.
And I wonder if he would include Lorenzo Cain in the Instagram, because that pair has so much fun together. And you know, Rex, one of the funny things I was asked in the offseason, because Salvi was constantly needling Lorenzo Cain, and fans asked me, do Salvi and Lorenzo get along? I said, oh, they love each other. They're like big brother, little brother.
Yeah, a lot of fun to see the chemistry, but you know, they have a good time off the field. But what's more fun really for us is to watch them focus and get real serious on the field, and they've got extreme talent. Salvi at the back and Lorenzo Cain far out in center field. Straight line between both of them. They're a lot of fun.
Winning teams have to be strong up the middle, and the Royals strong up the middle. Best defense when you talk Perez, Escobar, Infante, and Cain. Swing, and they just did grab a piece of it. So Abreu's still alive at 1 ball, 2 strikes.
There's Volquez. When he throws that changeup, you see it in the far back fingers there. He kind of turns it over and he gets a little bit more downward action. Yeah, and, you know,
we saw the replay, and Abreu was going back like it was a foul ball, Hud. And then it was the umpire who came in and said, wait a second, I didn't call that a foul ball, Jose. You didn't touch it. And Robin Ventura went out to talk to Chris Siegel, but Chris said no, it was a ball in the dirt, swung on and missed. And so that is strikeout number 2 for Edinson Volquez. Now Melky Cabrera, who has one of the 2 Chicago hits, a double down the left field line that led off the second. popped up left side, foul territory, long run for Moose or Escobar, and Moose will let Esky take it. He had the better angle, and good communication by the left side of the Royals infield defense. Volquez looking for win number 11 tonight. And he leads Kansas City in wins, starts, innings, strikeouts, and quality starts with 12. Through a quality start in his last outing Sunday, despite losing to Toronto 5-2, he gave up just 2 runs in 6 innings. And there's a strike. Garcia, emerging star in the league, still just 23 years old, out of Venezuela.
Yeah, this young man's a fine athlete. I mean, and he's not just a little guy. He's a big guy. When you see him on screen, you know, most players look pretty big on screen, but when you get down on the field and you look at this guy, he towers over you, and he's strong. I mean, he looks like a football player, really. But the thing about it is he's able to run. I mean, he's got great speed, and he's got a tremendous throwing arm.
Grew up in the Detroit organization, where he said Miguel Cabrera was a great influence, just to watch him day in, day out, take batting practice. And they are both from Venezuela. Cabrera and his team will be here next week, but Miggy can't play, still on the DL. There's the swing and a miss, and Garcia's down, and he gets 2 strikeouts in the 4th. Our broadcast auction continues here at Kauffman Stadium. Time to check in with Joel Goldberg, who's won with Lacey Holland.
Piz, thank you very much. Yeah, with Greg Holland's wife, Lacey, and we are hoping that in a little while we'll see HDH come in and close this one out, as they often do. Lacey, we got a unique item. I know we've had different things over the years, but this one is an HDH guitar. What are you seeing on this thing?
The guy is the 3-headed monster. Really is on here.
We literally have a 3-headed monster. Now, I'm trying to figure out if that's Greg that has the lower body on that one, but you see the caricatures of Holland, Herrera, and Davis, and then maybe turn that thing around, because it is HDH, but then we have a bunch of the guys from the World Series in the back too. So we got Shields, we've got Guthrie, Ventura, Vargas, and then on the bottom, Fraser, Duffy, looks like a Collins, and a Finnegan. Okay, some questions about these guys, because part of the package isn't just this electric guitar, it's a chance to hang out with HDH. Those guys, you know them all pretty well. I mean, well, certainly Greg, but they look really locked in and focused on the field. How about off of the field, hanging out with them?
Oh, they're all just a bunch of kids. Just like to have fun. It's fun to hang out with them.
So not as intense. I mean, because you see Greg when it gets down to that 9th inning, or Wade, and they look pretty intense. So they actually are calm off of the field.
Yes, very.
So you get a chance to do the meet and greet with them. You get this guitar. You get 4 dugout box seats. So obviously a lot of fun. And Lacey, if that goes over his head, we're going to have you stay the whole time if that ended up being a Big Ben Zobrist hit. We're looking for a little luck, try to get things going so we can pass it off to HDH. Looked like we might have an injury, though, on the play. Looked like Adam Eaton coming up a little bit lame, so Robin Ventura and the training staff going to come out and take a look. So that gives us a chance to talk a little bit more now. So the guitar item's kind of unique. I mean, we've never seen anything like that before, and the HDH on there. Does Greg have any musical abilities?
No. He tries to sing, but not very good at it.
So you would recommend that whoever gets this package not engage him in any type of musical anything?
No. He knows the words to all the songs, but he just doesn't have a good tune.
All right, and I'm going to guess, I don't know that I've ever heard Wade Davis or Kelvin Herrera sing at any point or play any kind of instruments either. So you get the guitar, and then you get the personalities. Let me ask you a couple other things. You guys last year, I mean, the playoffs was so special because of everything that happened. But in the middle of all of that, you, the Canes, end up becoming parents, first-time mother. What was that whole October like for you?
Overwhelming. Greg and I sit back and laugh, and we're like, what even happened? It was the quickest month. It was insane, but it was great.
And you told me that the little one is walking at 10 months?
Yes, just started walking. Actually running everywhere. Can't sit down for 1 minute.
Perhaps a future closer. Adam Eaton is coming out of this game, getting a nice round of applause as he is hurt. Again, you can bid on this, the HDH electric guitar, and a chance to hang out with Herrera, Davis, and Holland for a meet and greet, and 4 dugout box tickets and a parking pass, guys.
Thank you very much. And Joel, if you watch the NBA playoffs, they had a wonderful three-point shooter for the Golden State Warriors by the name of Klay Thompson. Well, his brother Trace is now taking over in center field, and Trace was a marvelous athlete in Santa Margarita, California, and he has 2 other brothers. One played basketball at Pepperdine, and of course Klay played at Washington State. Well, Trace chose baseball, and he is charged up in the minor leagues with the White Sox and was knocking on the door last year, but still, much like any young athlete, HUD, trying to discipline his strike zone. They say he's already big league ready defensively, but offensively still disciplining himself and still figuring out what are strikes and what are pitches outside the zone.
Well, it's just in his 2nd game in the big league, so, but it's unfortunate for the White Sox that Adam Eaton is coming out of that game after making a beautiful catch. He timed it perfectly, and he landed on his shoulder. Sometimes that can be real problems. So that's unfortunate for the White Sox. Eaton is one of their best players.
And he had been so hot since the break. So now John Danks will offer up a curveball to Lorenzo Cain for ball 1. Lorenzo tripled down the left field line. So he has 2 hits in his last 2 at-bats after breaking that 0 for 14 slide. And once again, an off-speed pitch. We told you, Danks, this is his 20th start against Kansas City, a 9-1 record, a 2.6 ERA. Against everybody else, almost 2 runs higher. One ball, 2 strikes.
Danks is bringing in some more curveballs than he usually has against the Royals. And he's doing it mainly with fastball change. Now his fastball he throws 46.6% of the time. So that's the pitch that really they should be looking for. Try to lay off of all those other ones. And you hope that his command isn't good, but so far tonight it has been. Typically, he's throwing that fastball away to righties.
And really, he has pitched his best baseball recently. Last 4 starts, ERA under 3, 2-0 record.
And when you know you dominate a team, coming to the ballpark, you're saying, all right, I'm going to get these guys again. So that's that extra mental boost that a player has when he has those kind of numbers. Now you see the righties, they have a lot of success against him, 12 homers, and that's because he's not overpowering and he leaves stuff out over the middle.
Boy, his location is great, and another cut fastball and another strikeout, number 5 for Danks. Well, the Royals finally beat him back on April 9th. 4-1 the final score. Gave up 4 runs in 5 2/3 innings, and the guy tonight who is opposing him got the victory that night. But Volquez and Danks have been matched up all 4 times this year. Here is Hosmer, and he takes ball 1. Oz popped up to the first baseman to end the first inning. Baseball's hottest hitters the last month. He smacks that one sharply foul. He had a great road trip, went 5 for 10 in the final series against the Tigers, but overall .462 average. 13 runs scored and 5 runs scored in that Detroit series. Slaps that one sharply, but right at the third baseman. Saladino bobbled it for a moment. Still has time to throw out Haas, and we are through 4. A 0-0 score. Chicago and KC. AT Uverse high-speed internet. The Uverse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. By Panera Bread, avoid the lines. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panera.com. And by your Midwest Ford dealers, visit us at your MidwestFordDealers.com. Back at Kauffman Stadium, Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler with our vice president, our boss, Mike Swanson. You want to talk about the broadcast experience. Tell us what's happening.
Absolutely. It's a great opportunity for fans to come out, and like I say every year, they get to come out and peek behind the curtain. You get a chance to hang out with you guys, come downstairs and sit through Ned's pregame, and then if they can come up with a couple of questions, they're welcome to ask him some questions about his ball club.
Ned would love that.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done it in the past. It's been great. And then, watch batting practice from the field in the dugout. Then go out to the truck, hang out, out in the truck and see what the boys out there are doing to get this broadcast on the air, and then have dinner with you guys upstairs. And folks, just for tonight's dinner alone, we had shrimp scampi over pasta. I mean, it was outstanding tonight. So you got to come out and eat in the dining room upstairs. and then spend some time in the booth, spend some time in both booths, actually, in both the radio and television side. Get a chance to sit down with all you guys and just enjoy a really great evening at the ballpark, literally behind the scenes.
And one of the great experiences I've found with fans going down there with them is the opportunity to go to the truck, because it's a madhouse in there. It's absolute chaos in the way they organize that chaos to get it across the air.
It is controlled chaos. It really is. And to be able to sit in there and watch that and see all the screens up there that Steve Kurtenbach's looking at, Brian Shapiro, Joe Lavero, the gang down there that have so many different angles to see this ball game, and to call the right pictures up. And again, like I said, just to get an opportunity to see these guys work and see what goes into putting a telecast on every night, and to do it as we are on Fox Sports Kansas City 151 times a year.
And I've heard fans say that once they went out to the production truck, they never watched the game the same again. When they watched, they went, wow, now I know what all goes into that broadcast. Just for one game, there's so many guys doing things behind the scenes. So it's a wonderful experience.
It is. It's a terrific experience. I know we're getting kicked pretty good by George right now, but we need to make a little rush here to, get people to come out and be a part of this, because it's a good time. And they can spend a couple innings up in the main press box, watch us up there. And like I said, I go back to the behind the scenes part of this. It's something that very few people get an opportunity to do.
There's a ground ball foul wide of first by Adam LaRoche. And you know a lot about this, Swanee, because you and I go back for many, many years, but you have been a network statistician for some of the best. Keith Jackson, Howard Cosell, right on down the list. And the crew that you have helped put together here in Kansas City, well, bringing me and Hud back to Kansas City as well, and Ryan Lefevre and Denny Matthews, who are fantastic broadcasters. You know what this is all about. We're blessed here in Kansas City. We really are. When I'm at home, not on a road trip, or have an opportunity at, late at night, I'll go home and watch other telecasts. And they're just, in my mind, they're just not as clean and not as professional as what our telecast is. And our fans are so lucky to have the people on our shows that we have. And yeah, I've got a chance to work behind the scenes many years as a stats guy, doing what Dave Holtzman's doing now for you guys. And it's kind of nice not to have to do that anymore, but it's a hard job. But it's a rewarding job, because you're into every pitch and every movement of the game that you're working.
It's a lot of fun. I can tell you, one of the greatest phone calls I ever received in my life was from you in the Royals, when they said, hey, obviously we're desperate, Hud, but we would like for you to be our broadcaster. And for me, it was unbelievable. So I just want to say thank you publicly for that call. I'll never forget it in my life.
Well, we just said pack your bags. You're moving, pal. Let's go.
It's unbelievable.
Let's go. We're short redheads here in Kansas City. We need to up the ante here.
It was a complete joy. I'll never forget telling my wife. Thank you.
Well, it's a lot of fun having you. It really is. We've got a great group. And folks, if you've been on this experience, you'll get a chance to hang out with this group for a night. And I'll tell you what, when you walk out of here after that experience, you will feel like you've made a whole lot of new friends, because that's how it's always been when people have come to hang out with us one night. And we encourage families with youngsters who might be in high school and thinking about their young man or daughter who might be interested in sports broadcasting. This would be a great opportunity to get behind the scenes, see what it's like, and then actually either go, I want to do that, or there's no way I want to do that. We can either talk you into it or talk you out of it. We can do one of two.
Swanee, one of the bonuses I like up here is I like to play tic-tac-toe with my guests that come up here whenever they for this
auction. And I just
auction.
want you to know Hud always loses.
Oh, they haven't won one.
Well, you know what we'll do? We do this every year. We'll throw in something else. We'll have them if they want to come in after the game to the post-game press conference. We'll have them escorted in there so they can see Ned. Let's just hope we win the ball game that night. But it's a lot more entertaining when we win. But we'll throw that in there, and then
awesome.
Maybe we can let Don free, let him turn the dials over on the radio side for an inning. I don't know if Don likes that idea as much as I like selling it, but anything to get people to come out and bid on this.
Yeah, I just heard we're up to $2,000. Come on, folks. Man, ante up. We're going to have a good time.
Let's go. Raytown High School, University of Kansas. Anybody who knew me, who has made it in the game and in their business, let's go. Let's get the bids going and jump on board here, because you're going to get stuck with me for a night too. And I think we'll have a pretty good time.
And there's so many good broadcast programs in our universities. Obviously, Kansas State, Wichita State.
Don't forget the University of Missouri.
I was going right there because they were next. They're
I hired an intern at the University of Missouri this year.
Did you?
Yes, I did. So anybody who thinks I'm all Jayhawk all the time.
I'm waiting for you to hire your first Wildcat.
I did. You're sitting next to me. I've hit my quota.
Here is the pitch. It's a strike, and Volquez. And you know, Swanee, you've been around so many teams, including the world champion Arizona Diamondbacks in 2001. The thing that impressed me most last year about this ball club was the way the guys came together, and George Brett talked about that. Could you visit about that?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I was just telling somebody earlier today, you know, fans are a little concerned, or the talk radio is concerned, what have you, because we came back 4-6 in a road trip, which, by the way, we picked 2 games up while we were gone. But this group, if we win a ball game, they're up for about 5 minutes, and then it's business as usual. If we lose a ball game, it's the same thing. They're down for maybe 5 minutes, and then it's business as usual. And you know, we got on the buses last night in Detroit, or yesterday afternoon, and headed to the airport, and nobody was hanging their heads. Nobody was, we were disappointed to lose the ball game. But as a team, you know, a group, they're like, we'll just get them tomorrow. And that's been the attitude with this club, you know, every day. You know, Ned just did a ridiculously good job last year of getting this group together to bond them. And, you know, that will always point to the wild card game as the major bonding experience. But now these guys feel like it's unfinished business. And you know, to be around them every day, they know what they have to do. They know they've got a nice lead, but they also know they have to keep it. They have to keep winning. And you know, they're prepared to do that.
Volquez with a 3-2 pitch. Carlos Sanchez, he takes outside, ball 4. And you've been entertaining a great sports writer in Bruce Schoenfeld, who's doing a national story on Ned Yost. And Bruce told me, he asked Ned Yost, what was it like when Yordano Ventura was taken out, you received the boos in that wild card game? What were you thinking when you came off the field and heard that? And he goes, I knew we were going to win. That's what I was thinking about. Yeah. And that's a lot about what Ned Yost is about.
I think the best part of the wild card game story is, you know, in the 8th inning when the guys came in off the field before we batted in the bottom of the 8th, and they're throwing their gloves and they're like, this team is not going to beat us tonight. And Ned looked down there and saw the fire in their eyes and said, we're in there, you know, and we're down 4 runs. It's not too often you're down 4 runs and you go, yeah, we're going to win this ball game, you know. And this ball club shocked the world, if you will, last year. And in that one game, I mean, shocked a lot of Oakland A's. There's still some that are, you know, still stinging from it. And then, you know, to walk through the playoffs like they did and just come to 90 feet short of tying Game 7. And that's the unfinished business that this group unanimously wants to be a part of. And then you added Johnny Cueto and a Ben Zobrist, who within a week have fit in as if they've been forever Royals. I mean, and it sounded like I just punned out our statement for the year, Forever Royal, but that's exactly what it seems like to see Johnny, you know, fit in with his guys, you know, that he's known over the years, Eddie Volquez, and then Ben Zobrist comes in, and it's like Ben's been around forever. And it's just a great group of guys, a very welcoming, warm group of guys down there. And I can honestly say, you know, back to a question you asked a few minutes ago, you can count on one hand, and I've been doing this 37 years, where the team is that tight. Yeah. You know, this is not a 25 cap team. This is all on one bus team. And this team was like that last year. And then the group in Arizona that won the World Series was like that.
Kane at the wall, makes it catch. Swanee, thank you very much.
Spend, folks. Let's go. Let's get this broadcast experience going. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Swanee. Here's our Mazda game break. Pitchers duel in Cleveland. It was 6-0 Minnesota, and then Cleveland put up a 4 spot in the third, added another 5 in the fourth, including this Yan Gomes homer. And then Brian Dozier just countered with a home run. It is 9-9 right there in the 6th inning. By the way, guys, the Indians today trading away Michael Bourne and Nick Swisher to Atlanta for Chris Johnson, some cash exchange, and Mike Napoli heading back to Texas from the Boston Red Sox.
Wow. So after the July 31st waiver deadline, you can still put guys on waivers, and if they clear, you can trade them. Napoli, that's a big move to Texas. And how about Nick Swisher, who was injured, Michael Bourne, who has been injured, and a shadow of his former self when he played in the National League. As we see Morales pop it up left field, in comes Melky Cabrera to make the catch. 1 out.
Melky, he almost lost that ball in the twilight. This is the time of night where it's really important for the infielders on balls that are struck in high in the air. You got to point them out. So when the outfielder loses it in that twilight, he can look at the infielder, and the infielder's pointing where it is and what direction. He almost lost it.
Now Mike Moustakas. Flied out to center field his first time up. They will shift and have 3 infielders right side, 1 on the left. That one lone man is Saladino. He has played shortstop in the past in the minor leagues and has a little bit in the big leagues, mainly playing third. 2 balls and no strikes. Moose trying to break out of a little slide. 151 average last 14 games before tonight, and that had dropped his average under 280 for the first time in a long time.
He'll get it back. Teams have been trying to pitch Moose upstairs around the letters, and he's been having a hard time laying off of those. And in batting practice today, I saw Dale Swain working with Moose, and they were throwing him high fastballs, and he was taking a lot of them.
Well, he takes one there, and it's a 3-1 count. Looked like he was taking all the way.
He was. Now he likes that ball about there. But if it's up and out over, he'll shoot it to left field.
Ball 4, and Danks has walked his first. Fans, you can vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com, and you will be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. Salvi's had a pretty good start to the month of August, certainly against Detroit. He went 4 for 8 with a big home run as he went 3 for 4 off of Justin Verlander in the Royals' 5-1 victory. He absolutely crushed a first pitch fastball, and he goes after a first pitch fastball here, pops it up foul territory, and Abreu will take it for out number 2. As we take a look at the current broadcast auction board, George Brett Experience, a chance to have dinner with George and Duke Wathen. It's gone up to $17,500, and the broadcast experience right now at $3,000 and moving on up. I think they got it sold it for $9,000 last year.
Oh yeah, come on folks, we'll have a good time, I guarantee it.
Here is Alex Rios. He'll take down low ball 1. Our AT&T U-verse rewind. Alex Rios has 2 home runs this year. Both of them have come against his former team, the White Sox.
Oh, that's a pretty swing right there. Hope to see it right here in this at bat.
And he smacks this one down the line, but it is hooking and going foul.
Thought we were talking him into it.
Boy, that would have been a great setup.
Well, that's exactly what it's going to take for the Royals to get on the board against Danks. He's given up 12 home runs to right-handed bats, 3 to lefties.
dirt. Rex, why are right-handers hitting so much higher? I mean, 316 versus 192, and you would think that changeup would be his equalizer against right-handed bats.
Yeah, you know, Fizz, it's so much easier to face a left-hander if you're a right-handed batter because everything's coming in towards you. Now, changeup's away or a good pitch, but when you miss with that pitch away, it's not an overpowering pitch, and his fastball's not overpowering. So he's going to leave some stuff out over the plate, and righties have a better chance of jumping him and hitting for a higher average.
Again, he went after the high fastball. That's pop foul back and out of play, and the Royals have been offering at that pitch. Danks not making many mistakes with it.
And that's the whole key. Times he gives up the home runs and the hits, he's out over the plate. It's pretty simple, but it's hard for a pitcher to execute against these big league hitters when you're not overpowering. You can't blow the ball by him.
He also has an excellent pickoff move. 28 since the start of 2008, and that's second most among American League left-handers since the beginning of 08.
You're going to beat him. You got to take him over the wall.
Rios smacks it to left field. That's a base hit.
Come on, Moose.
Moustakas racing for third.
Come on.
They're going to send him home. The throw to the plate. Not in time. Royals take a 1-0 lead.
The Moose is loose here at the K tonight, and he's loose from bringing the mail home. That's a high fastball. Just talking about it, Fizz. If he's out over the plate, righties are going to get it. Beautiful short, compact swing by Rios. Melky Cabrera got to it a lot quicker than he did on that triple with Kane early. He knew he had to, but Moustakas cutting those bases on like a razor's edge. Just perfect inside, and yeah, I agree with you, young man.
It's a double for Rios. He goes to third on the throw home. And Kendrys Morales saying, Alex, why didn't they give you a triple? Well, Moose makes it 1-0. And Hud, you were just talking about that. If he makes a mistake down with his fastball, where he's been getting away about letter high, and he missed probably, what, 2-3 inches above the belt?
That's all it takes. Hitters will tell you a half-inch mistake is all it takes. But watch it. Flowers wants it down, and there's the mistake. That's exactly what hitters live on. And this is off the end of the bat too, but he caught it in the right place, right over the middle. And Moose with a good late slide. I like how he started his slide late, so he had some momentum crossing the dish before Flowers could put the tag on it. If he slides about a foot sooner, his momentum would have slowed him down, and Flowers would have tagged him out. So you got to credit Moose for the slide and the running ability. He cut those corners nicely.
No challenge from Robin Ventura on a rather close play. Now Infante, who's been pretty clutch with 2 out this year. He has 31 RBIs, even though he only has a .230 batting average. We've seen him come through countless times in these situations. Ball 1.
There you go. 2 outs with runners in scoring position. Infante, he's been good in these situations before.
15 of his 31 RBIs in these situations. Bounced in the dirt. Good block by Flowers, or it would be 2-0 with Rios' speed.
Bounced in the dirt. That ball was 5 feet in front of home plate.
Well, it reached the dirt.
It did. Danks knows that Infante loves the fastball. This is a fastball count, but a lot of times pitchers will throw a changeup. But let's see. Looks like Flowers calling for a fastball away. Ooh, he's starting to miss a little bit with his command now in this inning.
And he's only at 60 pitches. His efficiency was magnificent until he walked Moose on a 3-1 count. Got Perez on the next pitch, but Rios, good battle, double to left. And he walks. It's almost like he wanted no part of Infante.
Well, this is just the 4th batter that Danks has faced from the stretch tonight. So maybe the stretch, it has something to do with his command. He looks like he might be a little bit off from the stretch.
University of Kansas hospital injury report. I told you Trace Thompson taking over in center field because Adam Eaton was injured on this play.
He landed on his shoulder. Watch this. So he landed. See how his arm was extended, and that just jammed his left shoulder. And sometimes that'll separate that shoulder, but hopefully that jammed diagnosis won't mean very long. The White Sox sure hope. So does Eaton.
Now Danks against Escobar, who he has struck out twice. Strike one. Escobar has always had trouble with John Danks, just 3 hits and 25 at bats.
Why not drop down a bunt right here then? Escobar's been known to do that. Saladino, the 3rd baseman, he's back. Change up, curveballs, those are the best ones. We'll see what he does.
And right you are, Hud, but he bunts foul, and that is strike 2. Danks was off the mound very quickly.
No, he didn't. With a 3rd baseman back like that, he didn't have to be so quick. He had a little bit more time, but you know, it's a good thought. Now with 2 strikes, just shorten it up and see if he can go to right field.
Big hole between the first baseman, who is holding Infante, and the second baseman, Sanchez. One ball, 2 strikes. Great crowd at the K picking up. Royals have scored 1 to take the lead. They have runners on the corners with 2 out. Infante with just 1 steal in 3 attempts this year. Boy, he has thrown Escobar everything. Fastballs, changeup, curveballs, cut fastballs.
Well, this is the opportunity here that you just kind of want to maybe even choke up, just shorten up the swing, and don't try to do too much. If you try to do too much with it, sometimes it pulls your head off and he's able to get you out. He's a good contact hitter. Wants to find a hole. Give him another run.
He went. Well, Danks strikes out Escobar for the 3rd time, but a big 2-out double by Alex Rios knocks in Mike Moustakas to give the Royals the early 1-0 lead.
The Moose, he got loose.
On new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Toby Cook with you, and Joel Goldberg. Take it away.
Well, we've got another item to talk about. Stephanie Moustakis, Sarah Duffy, and we've got Stephanie's husband, or at least the little mini version. This is really cool. We've got the shadow box and 4 bobbleheads. You just saw this for the first time. What do you think, Stephanie?
I think it's such a neat display to see all 4 of the postseason bobbleheads in one case, and just captures all those fun and exciting moments, and it's fun to relive it all just looking at it.
Yeah, these are all the postseason bobbleheads that have been given away. So a lot of people, they're really popular. Everybody wants the bobbleheads. We've got the Salvador Perez, the Lorenzo Cain, the Mike Moustakas, the Giordano Ventura from Leawood Fine Art, and then all those pictures in the background, those iconic pictures signed by the players. Steph, I want to ask you about that play from the American League Championship Series. It'll be forever remembered here in Kansas City. You were sitting up here nervous like any fan. What did you think when you saw your husband, Mike, diving in? And we were going to see Mike right there, try to barehanded, nothing he can do. What did you think when you saw that play?
I was just happy he made it out of there after, but obviously a big out, and every out in a postseason game like that counts, so I was just proud of him to get it done and take the plunge into the dugout suite and those faithful fans that kept him alive.
Yeah, I guess you were probably pretty happy with all those fans. Glad it wasn't on the road.
Yes, exactly. I think they would have let him go, but it was like a game of trust in there.
I've always wondered when you have a bobblehead, I mean, everybody likes to collect them. What about when it's your husband? I mean, how many people in the family are wanting that bobblehead?
Oh, we took home a few cases. Yeah, we had to make sure everyone got a bobblehead, and it's just so special, and to share with our family is so fun, and yeah, we're going to display it in our house for sure.
So you get the shadow box of the 4 bobbleheads, 4 batting practice passes, 4 Diamond Club seats and a parking pass, and a meet and greet with Salvi, Lorenzo Cain, Mike Moustakas, and Giordano Ventura. You know these guys. I mean, that should be a lot of fun, right?
Yeah, that's an awesome package. I'm sure the fans will have a great time and experience, and the guys love meeting the people that are out here every day cheering for them, so it's awesome.
Sarah, I'm not going to let you get away without at least one question. You're doing a great job holding up this display from Leawood Fine Art. But if Danny were to get a bobblehead at one point, I just want to know, I think fans would want to know too, we're going to see the pop-up to Omar Infante. Would there be a beard, and how big?
There will be a lot of beard. That's all I have to say. Just a lot of beard.
So you're okay with that? I mean, you know, people talk about these things.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. And yeah, a lot of beard will be just fine.
All right, yeah, what would Danny Duffy be without the beard? Okay, so.
Without the beard.
All right, so coming soon, perhaps in future years, a Danny Duffy bearded bobblehead. But in the meantime, we have Salvi after that incredible walk-off win in the wild card. Lorenzo Cain making the defensive play. Moose hanging over the dugout suite. They don't have the fans picking him up, but we know that happened. And then Giordano Ventura, what he was able to do in the World Series. And I should mention before we let you go that right as you were walking up, your husband starts things with a walk, and then Alex Rios with the triple. So good luck, Stephanie, right?
Thank you. Yeah, great to get on the board. Let's get the W.
All right, there you go. I think spoken and just the way all Royals fans would like to hear it. Get this thing into the hands of HDH and wrap it up. Guys, again, great item to be able to bid on with the shadow box from Leawood Fine Art.
Thank you very much, Joel. And the Royals bidding for their 64th win, but there's one slicing in the alley, and Lorenzo Cain will not reach this one, and Trace Thompson with excellent speed will be able to score all the way from first base, and the double by Jose Abreu. It's a 1-1 score.
Talked about it earlier in his first at-bat, how he's been using the opposite field. And that ball's on the inner half, but a great inside-out swing. Cain with a nice bare hand pick off the wall. Gets it out there to Escobar, and you know, even on that right side of the infield, Escobar is the cutoff man with his tremendous arm. Infante doesn't go out typically on the right side. The second baseman's the lead thrower, but with Escobar, he takes all relay throws in the gaps. Either one, left center, right center.
Now the go-ahead run is in scoring position. Volquez is able to miss with ball 1 to Melky Cabrera, who has doubled and popped up. And this is an offense who has been very hot since July 23rd, hitting .298 and averaging 6 runs per game. Fouled off, 1-1. They have lost 5 of their last 7 after a 7-game win streak, and a lot of it was offense carrying them. First in batting, HUD. Second in runs scored, 6.1. I'm guessing that Toronto is #1 in that department, and 22 home runs since July 23rd.
Well, we knew they had the power. They just hadn't shown it all year until now. It's finally showing up. Melky, one of their best hitters with runners in scoring position. .361 average.
And he's been one of their hottest hitters the last 6 weeks of the season, hitting .364. White Sox with 1 run on 4 hits. The Royals 1 run on 2 hits. Abreu at second with only 1 out. Coming inside. And then he misses badly, up and away. Volquez has thrown 58 strikes. 25 pitches have missed. Zobrist will make the catch. Abreu will tag but stay put. Now Garcia, who is 0 for 2, grounded out to second base his first time up and struck out swinging his last at bat. Volquez with 3 strikeouts. He's walked 1.
Zobrist has an outfield assist in left, although he's very deep on Garcia. Lorenzo Cain has 5 outfield assists in center, and Rios has 3 in right. So pretty good arms out there. Depending on how hard the ball is hit, if it is hit.
Did he go? The appeal did not.
Nice job of checking the swing.
Volquez has been solid, one of the league's best with pressure situations. 0 for 5 is Chicago tonight with runners in scoring position. Moose. Long throw.
Oh.
Great play by Moustakas. Wow.
Somebody better call the park ranger because the moose is definitely loose. What a throw. Off balance. Back in his quarterbacking days in high school. Nice throw.
Fox Sports Kansas City in a 1-1 tie. Starting pitcher tonight, the new starting pitcher for the Royals, chatting it up as we continue with the broadcast auction. Great movement so far on the experiences. We'll continue to show those at the bottom of your screen, but want you to know about the ticket packages the Royals Charities is selling. This is so generous on behalf of our ticket office to give these to us. We've sold out of the August 15th option, but you can get tickets to the August 11th versus the Tigers game, or there's another one on August the 26th against the Orioles. You get one parking pass, 4 autographed photos. I'm sorry, 1 autographed photo or 4 hats. You can't pick the photo, and once those are out, then we'll move right on to the hats. These guys, with the tickets going the way that they're going, at $99 a pop for this package, these are some of the best deals in all of town, and they were very nice here at the Royals to let us use them to make more money on the broadcast auction.
Love it.
Thank you very much, Toby. And by the way, fans, the 6th inning is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Michael Randall from Kansas City. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Mike, you get $1,800. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Mike gets $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. Well, there's a base hit. Good start for KC in the bottom of the 6th.
Boy, you know, that line drive that he hit out to center field that hurt Adam Eaton. This is almost a similar swing. It's a slider, looked like it's down, but Zobrist is able to go down with that leg. I love that back leg. Watch how he's able to lower his hitting stroke with that leg bent like that and stay with it. A nice handsy type swing, just throwing the head of that bat out there, and that was a nice line drive.
Well, let's see if they can bring him home and break the 1-1 tie as Kane steps to the plate. He has tripled and struck out. Strike one. Lorenzo came with a 400 average against Chicago this year. 3 home runs, 7 RBIs.
Lorenzo Cain, he's due. He hadn't homered since the 26th of last month, and that was against Dallas Keuchel. He's overdue. Put one in the seats or in that bullpen.
Just barely inside with the same pitch. One ball, 2 strikes.
Unable to lay off of that changeup.
You know, every time we watch Danks, you just scratch your head and go, how does anybody else hit him? He has absolutely owned the Royals with a 9-1 record.
Just like
and
that.
He's in a 1-1 score here in the 6th.
Just like that pitch there, you know, the changeup. He's able to get less velocity with the same arm speed as his fastball. Makes it deceptive, hard to hit.
Would you look down and go 4.8 ERA?
One of the reasons that the stolen bases are down for the Royals this year is because a runner on first base is a rally, especially here at the K. As big as it is, a gapper scores most runners from first base. So Ned's not going to take a chance of getting thrown out at second base when you got gapper hitters like these guys.
And there might be one as Kane rattles it down to the corner. Zobrist heading to third. Jerschley's going to send him home, and he will score the go-ahead run.
That's exactly what we're talking about. Lorenzo Cain, he got him something that was up, and he didn't miss it. So the 2 base hits that were hit tonight off of Danks were pitches that were not meant to be where they were, and the hitter took advantage of it. Zobrist taking a long peek at that, hit the inside part of the base, and he's able to scamper home without a slide.
And I was watching Jerschley move back and get in perfect position to read the ball, but also be able to read the runner Zobrist where he was angling from second to third. Now Eric Hosmer waves at the off speed. It was a curve first pitch.
Okay, Eric Hosmer, as hot as he is, he doesn't have to think about pulling that runner over, pulling it to the right side to get him over to third base here in this situation, even with nobody out. He is so good hitting the ball to left, right, and center. He can just go ahead and stay on his game and not have to try to pull it, although he tried to that last swing. Just think right back up the middle.
He goes to left field. Here comes Kane. Melky will bring it to second. The Royals take a 3-1 lead.
And I love the way the hitters are listening to our broadcast tonight, Biz. They are just taking it on cue. Hosmer, as they pulled the shortstop Alexi a little bit to pull. They know the situation, but Haas, he waited, and another pitch that's up. And when you throw a hitter as hot as Hosmer, a pitch up in the zone, he's going to hit it hard. You just hope there's nobody there, and that was the case.
For Haas, that was his 127th hit. He came in 5th in the American League in most hits. Nelson Cruz of Seattle with 134, the leader. And out comes Donnie Cooper to visit with Danks again, and they're going to have everybody come in, the entire infield, to visit. Danks has given up 3 straight hits. This might also be to allow the bullpen guys to get ready, because Danks, it seems like, is leaking a little oil here in the 6th inning after a single, double, and single, and all 3 well struck. And as promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag KCDataStrong for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile.
Rachel, thank you. You got your rally caps on, and it's working in this inning.
Hosmer with his 59th run driven in.
Still nobody out.
Haas and Morales combined for 20 RBIs on the recent road trip. Soft away, ball 1. Morales with a 7-game hit streak, hitting .407 during that span, but 0 for 2 today with a fly out to center and a pop up to left. Two and 0. Ooh, he had a good rip. Had a 2-0 fastball. Morales kind of walks out of the batter's box as if to say, I got my pitch.
He sure did. And, you know, he really put a rip on it. He's such a good hitter. You don't normally see him overswing like that, but he couldn't help it. His eyes got big, and so did his swing.
Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Not much wind tonight on a warm evening. Expected to be warmer tomorrow on a Saturday night when Guthrie and Samardzija battle.
10 of those 12 home runs have all come from the left side of the plate. The last time Morales homered from the right side was July 12th against the Blue Jays.
Once again, Danks bounces that breaking ball in the dirt well in front of home plate.
He doesn't want to make a mistake to this guy. Morales is a beast. And he comes to missing with pitches out over the middle. He rarely misses it.
The Royals send Hosmer in a 3-2. No. And the pitch is low. Ball 4. And now Danks really steamed. This is a young man who really competes. I was watching his game against the New York Yankees, and he balked in the game, argued with the umpire, got out of the inning, no runs scored, and he was absolutely livid, screaming at the top of his lungs as he headed back to the dugout. And they want to see the Moose go loose right here.
Man, what's gotten into the Royals? That's their 11th walk in the last 2 games.
And they had, what, 5 in their previous 8 games?
Yeah.
Mike shows bunt. Saladino was playing off the third base bag by a good 20 feet. Then he slid in on the grass when Moustakas showed bunt.
You're wearing Danks down. First 4 innings, Danks just had no problem breezing through that lineup with 44 pitches thrown. Now the last 1+ inning, 40 pitches, so they're wearing him down.
That just tells me he's not ready to throw when they didn't have a play on, and he's making a move back towards second base.
What he was doing was seeing if Moose is going to square around. That's exactly what he wanted to see. But Moose, he's got the ability to drive him in, both on base and himself, if he can get him a good pitch.
Ramirez is playing a little closer to second, and Mike got way out in front of that fastball. Mike walked his last time up and scored in the double by Rios. That gave KC a 1-0 lead, but the White Sox tied it on Trace Thompson's infield hit and Jose Abreu's double to right. The Royals have scored 2 so far, and Danks has still not gotten a man out.
Seen Moose do it with his legs and his glove and his arm.
Sharply to second base. That's a 4, 6, and a 3 double play. Hosmer to third. So Salvador Perez will come up. Salvi 0 for 2, popping up twice, once to short and once to the catcher. He has 4 hits in his career off of Danks. 2 of those are home runs. Ball 1. I really think Ned Yost, Pedro Grifol have done a really fine job in resting Salvador lately. He is not started 8 times the last month, and he fouls that one back. 1 ball, 1 strike. They're getting Drew Butera a little more work and allowing Salvi to rest, because this is a guy, a real weapon offensively. Last year the Royals were charging in the second half, just trying to reach the postseason. This year they have a big lead in the Central. Fouled off 1 and 2. Next pitch that Danks throws will be his 91st. So many of them have come in the last 2 innings. 46 total the last 2 innings to get just 5 outs.
Watch Salvi shorten up his swing right here. 2 strikes, put it in play. A lot of holes out there. Oh, just got under it.
Foul territory for Saladino. But the Royals break the tie with 2 runs. A single by Zobrist, a double by Kane, a single by Hosmer. Going to the 7th, it's 3-1 KC. Rex Hudler. We're now joined by Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. Monty, Edinson Volquez, last 6 starts have been excellent, and again tonight.
Yeah, I heard you guys talk about how well he's done with runners in scoring position. Here he is, the sprints cut to the game, and he's doing the same thing again. Got himself in a couple of jams, but worked himself out. Really nice work by Eddie Volquez tonight. Steady Eddie.
Using that defense. Trusty glove work. I'll tell you what, this play by Moose was special.
Volquez learned early to trust the Royals defense, and he did that game 1 this year of his start against the White Sox. Well, John Danks, who has owned the Royals, he is flat furious. He's a guy with a record of 9-1, but made a couple of mistakes in that last inning. He hasn't made many, but Zobrist line single, Kane line double, Hosmer line single, and it seemed like, Monty, he missed with the fastball or the cut fastball.
Well, when you don't overpower, you got to be fine with the location, and he's not an overpowering guy. But it's amazing how a number of guys that the Royals have faced this year are very similar to John Danks, have been very successful, but they've kind of stuck with this game plan and not made the mistakes. Fortunately tonight, Royals taking advantage of those mistakes that Danks has made.
Yeah, they saw a guy who was similar style the other day, Matt Boyd of the Detroit Tigers, who worked the Royals up with the fastball, down with the changeup or curve.
This is the best I've seen Volquez. From the first inning on, he's been executed. Look at the amount of pitches. He's been very consistent with his pitches. Now, he's letting one get away from him here, but he's been staying over the top of the rubber. His balance has been good. His shoulder's been coming forward, and he's not wasting any time. He's got a good tempo working tonight.
And what I mentioned, or I'm sorry, what I really noticed early in the game was he was dominant with that fastball down and away to right-handed batters. He established that very early in the game, and it stuck with him.
Ooh, he misses barely inside to Adam LaRoche, who works the leadoff walk in the 7th inning. So that's just the second walk issued by Volquez in this game as he works the bottom of the order.
That was a great spot.
Now he'll try and stay down in the strike zone, perhaps get 2 outs on 1 pitch as he faces Alexei Ramirez, the veteran, 0 for 2. He was Chicago's 2nd most clutch player last year behind Abreu. He only had 15 home runs last year, but drove in 74, and it usually was either from way high in the order or down in the order.
Well, Volquez is going to put him in the lane right here. Ramirez is grounded into the 2nd most double plays on the team at 13. Eddie's induced 12 so far this year. He's got that ball working down. See if he can hit it. A little 6-4-3.
Barely misses down low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Royals completely confident what Volquez has right now. They have no one up in the bullpen. He hasn't missed by much in the last 2, but falls behind 2 balls and 1 strike. Way inside now, a 3-1 count, back-to-back batters. He's had on 3-1 counts, and he's losing a little command of that fastball, and that concerns Ned.
Yep. That moved Dave Island to the phone. This is a good swinging count right here. Let's see if he can entice him to hit it on the ground.
Volquez has been battling all night. I think he's going to challenge Ramirez here. 2 pitches in a row.
He swings and lines it to Infante. Whew. Monty had dinner tonight with not only Denny Matthews, but super scout Art Stewart, a Hall of Fame scout, and he said he went into the Royals clubhouse and he saw Volquez, Johnny Cueto, with Yordano Ventura, all talking baseball, and they were all laughing and happy, and that is a good sign, the way leaders, veterans like Volquez and Cueto can take a young man under their wing like Yordano Ventura.
Well, we've seen Yordano Ventura go through a lot of different situations and circumstances during the course of the season that you really hope you don't have to deal with, but when you have him, you have to find some guys to share with and learn from, and I think that's one thing that both Volquez and Cueto went through at different stages of their career when they were younger pitchers with great arms like Yordano Ventura, so hopefully a lot of that'll rub off.
Yeah, Eddie has told us several times that, hey, when I came up with Texas, I was very immature. I did some stupid things. But after the trade to Cincinnati, he really grew up. And he has become a real leader. Carlos Sanchez swings and misses. Sanchez has flied out and walked.
You know, you be successful against Volquez, you got to look for the fastball for sure. But man, when he throws that changeup like that, that's a very effective pitch. He can fool a lot of batters. Same way with Danks tonight. Danks working that changeup. That's a good pitch to get him off balance with.
And whole key to the changeup, it's got to finish out of the strike zone. You don't want to change up finishing in the strike zone and doing the hitter a favor.
So Volquez has options on 0-2. Just runs away barely at 96 miles an hour. Luke Hochevar warming in the Royals pen. Herrera and Davis both worked yesterday. That might work. 4-6-3 double play.
Over Cleveland, Boston, and Detroit. It's not going well for Detroit. James McCann and Jose Iglesias had a shoving match in their own dugout in this game. Toronto just won over New York, and Baltimore and LA scoreless. Our Mazda game break takes us to Cleveland, a slugfest, and Torrey Hunter breaks the tie. Twins wearing the red tops, and maybe that'll get them going as they have taken a 10-9 lead. And guys, pointing out that Yankees Blue Jays game as we back there see Edinson Volquez. Jose Bautista homered in the top of the 10th as they win for the 9th time in 10 games. They're now 9-0 with Troy Tulowitzki in the lineup.
Wow. And they were only 4.5 games back of the Yankees to start the night, and they still have 13 left with New York. That's going to be crazy.
It's awesome. Love to see it.
Matt Albers is the new pitcher for the White Sox after Danks went 6. He can't win. And Matt, a right-hander, owns a 1.7 ERA over his last appearances, 30 appearances dating back to 2013, because he was just reinstated from the 15-day disabled list on the 19th of July and was on there after breaking his right pinky finger in an on-field altercation with the Royals. It was a shot foul by Rios. And Alex had the big hit in the 5th inning.
Nice to see Rios starting to come to life. That ball there he hit foul was even well struck. That ball's a high fastball. Look at how short his swing is. That's a short, compact Rios. That's what's going to get him out of it. I tell you, that's where you get your pop, is by staying short, not long. And Trot moves home with a great slide and tremendous cutting the edges of the bases.
Well, Albers will take care of Alex easily to open the bottom of the 7th inning. Let's go to Toby Cook.
Hey guys, our broadcast auction continues as we got past the 7th inning stretch, and we've had some great bids tonight. The George Brett Experience continues to lead at $17,500. We've been stuck there for a while, so maybe the winner is going to set in for a little while. It's pretty typical to the experiences that we've had in years past, but the two that are kind of pulling up the rear, Instagram Experience with Salvador Perez and an all-star package with these great jerseys that we have of the guys who participated in the Major League Baseball All-Star Game in Cincinnati a couple of weeks ago. This is 4 batting practice passes with Salvador Perez, 4 dugout box tickets, and 1 parking pass. Maybe he'll dunk you. We'll see what happens. But you get to watch batting practice, and then he's going to kind of goof around with you with the Instagram account that he loves so much. Personalized batting practice all-star jerseys from all of the 2015 Royals who were in Cincinnati. That's another one that we'd love to see bumped up a little bit, but we're creeping closer and closer. We'd love to hit that $100,000 mark, guys. The Royals Charities broadcast auction. Salvador Perez, Instagram, goofing off with you for a little bit of time before a Royals game in the future. That's a good seller. We'd love to get some more bids for that one.
Boy, he's the classic example of take your job seriously, but not yourself. Salvador Perez. Well, here is Omar Infante down in the count 1-2. Matt Albers, the pitcher, and fouled off.
Albers, he's been pretty funky. Got a nice sinker going. He'll be tough to hit.
We've got that broadcast experience is up to $4,500. Remember, Mike Swanson also threw in an opportunity to go into the interview room after the game, listen to Ned Yost speak, and come up and be part of the broadcast both here and along with the Hall of Famer Denny Matthews on the radio side. There's Rhino and Denny. Don Free, Steve Stewart up above. Rhino in his classic Hawaiian shirts. It's a beauty. I'm sure Sarah picked it out for him. Albers with the 1-2, and it's pulled to the left side. Saladino has it. He's throwing time, and 2 out.
That's that almost sidearm delivery that has a little sink to it. It presents a lot of trouble for hitters, man. It's very difficult. At 90 to 95, he's got a slider to go with it. He's a good pitcher.
Yeah, he's got great stuff, and when he's healthy, he's one of the guys that has the ability to get ground balls up there with anyone.
Yeah, they went out and improved their bullpen because it was very, very poor last year. As a matter of fact, they were 27th among the 30 major league teams in ERA at 4.29. And they went out and got Dave Robertson, Zach Duke, a right-hander who had been a closer for the Yankees, a lefty, Duke, who had pitched so well for Milwaukee and other teams, and also were able to pick up Albers. And they've finally gotten back Nate Jones, a hard thrower who had been injured. Well, he had gone through 2 injuries, one a back injury, and then coming back from Tommy John surgery. Escobar is just glad that Danks is out of the game. He did not look comfortable at all, striking out all 3 times.
Garcia in right field, he's playing extremely shallow. Doesn't believe Escobar can hit it by him or over his head.
Wouldn't you just love to see him smoke one over his head? So that'll show you.
Yeah, I'll take a nice line hugger down that line and get him a triple.
Now a 3-1 count to Escobar with Ben Zobrist waiting on deck. In there, full count now, 3-2.
For those last 3 pitches, he's working the outer half. Escobar's got to be looking out there.
Well, he's battling him.
As you were talking a minute ago about the White Sox improving their team, I'm sorry, their bullpen, but they made a lot of changes in their team. And I was looking at the team's record today and comparing to last year's White Sox record. Identical records last year through the same amount of games, 51 and 55. And the major investment they made this winter just has not paid off for the White Sox.
Ground ball through the hole, backhanded Ramirez. Snap toss. Got him. Ned might challenge. I'll tell you what, I don't think Ned Yost even looked over to Wakamatsu. He said, let's challenge. And he said, let's take a look, and he will. Ned like bolted out. I mean, he had a good view of Escobar reaching first base.
I thought Ned was going to pull a hammy there, the way he jumped out of that dugout.
And they just showed it on the big scoreboard in center field, and you can hear the crowd roar, believing that Escobar will have an infield hit.
That's hard to believe. First base umpire missed that call. Laz Diaz. That was you could definitely tell when he hit that bag that he beat it.
Kansas City is 11-7 in challenges this year, but it almost looked like Ned didn't even need Wakamatsu to talk with Billy DeBlisi about whether or not they would challenge that. Ned knew all along.
And remember, it's not in. It doesn't. They don't go it until it's in the back of the glove, not in the front, in the back.
He is safe, and Escobar reaches on an infield hit with 2 out. But Monty, you talked about identical records after Chicago spent a lot of money in the offseason to add Samardzija, Robertson, Cabrera, LaRoche, Duke, Giovanni Soto. They brought back Gordon Beckham, picked up Emilio Bonifacio, but it's a lot of parts, but you didn't know if they'd fit.
Well, they won the offseason, at least in the Central, but it doesn't always pay off. I remember going back to 1990, we'd gone out and made a bunch of transactions here in Kansas City, brought in Mark Davis and Storm Davis and a bunch of guys, and for some reason just getting out of the gate is more difficult than you think when you add all those new pieces and parts to a team, and a lot of it goes back to chemistry and culture.
Yeah. And when you talk about what Kansas City went through, they brought everybody back, didn't really need to add much. They lost James Shields, and yet there are so many forecasters who were picking them 3rd or 4th. But I felt in spring training good, because it seemed like that put a big chip on the Royals' shoulder, like, we're American League champions.
Well, I thought it was pretty interesting. Joel and I had Mr. Glass on the pregame show the other day, and he said, all these prognosticators said, we're going to win 72 games. And he goes, you know what? They're going to be right. But we might do it next week.
Oh, Mr. Glass. He always looks at game of life and game of baseball with a glass that's overflowing. Now Alber's thinking that Escobar might be going.
That was Escobar's 14th infield hit. That's second behind Hosmer. And the 100th infield hit by the Royals. That's 5th best in baseball.
Escobar stole a bag yesterday, his 9th, stole 3rd in Detroit. Rex, he hasn't been running that much this year. Why?
Well, that injury that set him back there early when Laurie slid into him at second base, it slowed him way down. And then, you know, like we were talking about earlier, in this ballpark especially, a runner on first base is almost like a runner in scoring position. You hit those gaps and you can score them. We've seen it twice tonight already.
Escobar does go. The throw to second base is not in time. Steal number 10 for Escobar.
The Royals are showing that they don't need to steal bases this year like they did last year. They've got more power with Morales and Hosmer and Moose. All those guys picking it up. Now, if they needed to steal, we'd be seeing them steal a lot more. And another thing, too, is they're paying a lot more attention to the Royals base runners this year. The pitchers are a lot quicker home. They're going over to first. So really, they're doing a nice job of defending that stealing potential the Royals have.
That was number 67 on the year. Zobrist takes down low, 2 balls, no strikes. Royals, one of the better teams with runners in scoring position.
Guys, that was one of the things that Rusty Kuntz talked about a lot early in the season when the Royals were hitting so well, was that guys getting on base, it's attracted a lot of attention from the pitcher, so the hitters getting better pitches to swing at.
A 3-0 count to Zobrist. Kane on deck, who's already collected 2 extra base hits tonight, a triple and a double. There's Rusty, outfield and base running coach. Zobrist walks on 4 pitches. It was like Albers wanted no part of Ben. So the Royals have 4 walks in the game and now 12 in the last 2.
But a lot of times guys are described as professional hitters. In your opinion, Ben Zobrist?
Absolutely. You look up that word professional hitter in the dictionary, you see his name, Morales, Hosmer. These guys are all showing what they can do with all their experience that they've gained. Zobrist, a 10-year veteran, both sides of the plate. Very steady, trustworthy player.
Even though the Royals lost yesterday, I thought that double in the 7th inning by Kendrys Morales was a professional at bat. 2 RBIs, tied the game, and just such a quiet approach. Kane with a chopper to third. Saladino, hard throw, out. I think we might have another protest. Another challenge from Ned. He's looking over his shoulder. It was really close at first base. But Kane coming out of the box, I mean, he was roaring down the line, but they say no challenge. Royals lead 3-1 over the Sox. and by Ram. Find your summer of fun with great deals at the Ram Summer Clearance Event. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Jeff Montgomery, Joel Goldberg, and Toby Cook. Let's go to you now.
Thanks, guys. Our Royals Charities broadcast auction continues with this new board update. We're still sitting at $18,000 for the George Brett experience. We've creeped up on the couple that we talked about last half inning, the All-Star package with the great jerseys and the Salvador Perez Instagram experience. Those are doing well. The ticket packages are one that we are continuing to sell. We did sell out early of the August 15th game, so we still have 4 outfield plaza tickets available for Tuesday, August the 11th. That's T-shirt Tuesday night against the Tigers, or on August the 26th against the Baltimore Orioles. That comes with 1 parking pass and those tickets, and you can either get an autographed photo, we can't do a specific player, but an autographed photo, or Royals hats. Plenty of those tickets available on the broadcast auction this evening. It's going great so far, but we'd love to sell some more of those packages. And by the way, guys, we've had some neat movement on the broadcast experience. This is one we've done since we've had a broadcast auction, where you get a behind-the-scenes look at TV and radio. And we love this. This is a homemade sign from a fan. It's got all the guys, Ryan, Steve, Joel, Jeff Montgomery, and Rex Hudler, and then Denny the Godfather Matthews. You know, they call him the Ford C. Frick Award winner in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I could see him doing the Godfather. I mean, you see them kind of with his finger up, a couple of fingers up against his chin, and giving you guys some wisdom, and then you carry on with the family business.
Every night gives us wisdom. And Steve Stewart's round table.
And his habits and his little milk that he drinks at dinner. And yeah, he's a very intimidating fellow, Denny Matthews.
Yeah. Hey, Toby, can I throw in an autographed scorecard from a Royal moment where Royals done something great, like a 2-home-run game or Greg Holland's save?
That would be great.
Okay.
We appreciate you throwing that in there. It is a neat package, and even if you're not a broadcaster, have broadcasters in your family, it's about the ultimate behind-the-scenes experience here at Kauffman Stadium.
Yeah, I think I still have one at home, a broadcast autograph scorecard when Greg Holland set the Royals record. I've got to check back home, but I can come up with that to be part of the broadcast experience.
Only if you sign it.
Well, Greg Holland has signed it. He's one of the great closers in the game, and that was a remarkable season. As a matter of fact, Jeff Montgomery, who is the Royals Hall of Famer and has more saves than anybody, said it's the greatest season he's ever seen by a Royals closer. Fouled off.
All right, folks. Every broadcaster has their own way and their own style, their own method, and there's Fizz's right there. It's a beauty, man. Look at all the colors. Fizz, he's got all kinds of colors on there. And different colored pens for different things. Fizz, you know what? You break that down for us.
Well, what happens is I try to make it a little artsy, because what we do is if a guy has a dramatic moment or a historic game, like Alex Gordon had a 2-home-run, 6 RBI game, I had Alex sign it, then had it framed and gave it to Royals Charities.
Is that the one with the facts of Lewis and Clark expedition on it?
Well, Lewis and Clark were unable to autograph the scorecard for me. You're a piece of work, you know that?
You're the best.
Oh, somebody wants to know what I did with my wild card game scorecard.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out, because we could have Salvi sign it. Well, there is a walk to Tyler Flowers, and an excellent bat by Tyler, because Hoch was dealing him tough pitch after tough pitch, and he was fouling so many of the offerings off. So now we head back to the top of the order, and Trace Thompson. To start the game, it was Adam Eaton, but he injured his shoulder, making a terrific catch on a fly ball struck by Ben Zobrist back in the 4th inning. Volquez went 7, allowed only 1 run. He was terrific, one of his best outings of the year. Ball 1. Now Salvi goes out for a visit. And this is something that Pedro Grifol, who's the Royals catching coach, told me, that Sal is still learning, and he said, when we were in St. Louis, Sal stood right next to me and we watched Yadi Molina, and we said, watch him when he goes out, the times he goes out, why he goes out to talk with his pitcher.
That's important. Why not learn from the best?
And that's one of his favorites. Good pitch by Luke Hochevar. Looked like that cut fastball that worked itself away from Trace Thompson.
He'll throw that pitch around 90 miles an hour, 91. It's a good pitch. Also overhand curve and a hard fastball at 95.
Franklin Morales has just started to throw down in the Kansas City pen. Two and one. And there's the Royals lefty. They're obviously trying to stay away from Herrera and Davis, who worked a lot recently. Hit well left field. Zobrist down the line. Can't get there. It's a fair ball, and it bounces into the seats. A ground rule double. So second and third with nobody out here in the 8th inning.
Thompson got his first big league hit earlier, and now he's got his first double. That was an off-speed pitch. Thompson was off balance, hit it off the end of the bat, and Zobrist with a nice effort wasn't able to come up with it.
So Thompson comes through with the double, and he reached out and had to pull that one, and Zobrist had him played more towards left center field, and Ben had a long way to go. So the conversation from Dave Island to Luke Hochevar is now over. Now he'll face hitters 2, 3, and 4. That means Tyler Saladino, the rookie, but then the two money winners in Abreu and Cabrera.
Coach is going to have to execute his pitches here. Now he's in trouble. Saladino, he loves the fastball. Most hitters do. That was good spot. 96.
Saladino out of San Diego, played his college baseball at Oral Roberts. This is upstairs.
What's a nice play by Saladino at third base. The way he plays third, the way he moves. And he's been opening some eyes as a hitter. Got Connor Gillespie traded.
Well, he was on that cut fastball that was up a little bit, but spun it straight back to the screen. The number 9 batter, Flowers, walked. Leadoff walk. Late in close games always seem to spell trouble. The 1-2. Struck him out.
Nice to see Hoch use that fastball. That pitch and that location at that velocity, there's not a hitter in the world that can square that up. Great four-seamer. Going to the fastball. Doesn't matter if he likes it or not. Look, hit my best. Here it is. Four-seamer away. That was by him.
Now a very difficult out in Abreu. Knocked in a run with an opposite field double last time up. Strike one. Good breaking ball. Boy, he's been tough with runners in scoring position. He has driven in 65 on the year, and hitting over 350 his last 17 games.
Good thing he was taking that one. That was a nice spot. You stay with that.
That was the cut fastball.
Beautiful.
Chicago 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position, but Abreu's a different kind of monster.
Stay with that heater out there. It's working for him.
Would you go with the cutter or the fastball?
Cutter, either one. Four-seamer's been explosive. I'd like to see Hoach bear down here. This has been good. Got Saladino. Maybe he can get their best hitter.
He wants it up. Ooh, man.
There's some 97.
I almost thought that was a high strike.
Looked like it.
I mean, if they call it knees to letters, it sure did look like it was right at the letters.
Chris Siegel, he's been calling that low strike zone tonight.
Will it set up the cutter? Yes, it will. He struck him out.
Love to see Hochevar reaching back. Executing his pitches when he needed to. Keeping it away from the powerful bat of Abreu. That's fantastic job. And Ned Yost says, all right, Hoach, great job. Got yourself in a little mess and you cleaned yourself up.
We'll see Franklin Morales when we come back. Orioles Baseball Corporation and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be
disseminated
without the express written consent of the Royals. Well, Kansas City with a 3-1 lead. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery with you. Toby Cook handling the broadcast auction, but Franklin Morales turning around the switch hitter Melky Cabrera, who hits .238, Rex, against left-handers, .297 against right-handers.
Well, you know, this is a move that in the American League really is the only strategy that managers can use, is who they can bring in. But Morales has only given up a .209 average to righties, and that's what he's using the percentages. Melky's not as powerful from the right side. Morales, good average against righties. Fastball, slider. Regardless, Melky hitting .361 with runners in scoring position.
There are the numbers. And he's also only 1 for 5 against the Royals lefty. Right side, Rios backing up, still going back, and he'll make the catch. then the last 2 innings, 5 and 6, the Royals got to him.
And look where those pitches were located. Right out over the middle of the plate, and the Royals were waiting. I mean to tell you, they were waiting. Finally got to him a little bit, but this game's far from over.
He wasn't happy about it, but I'm sorry, John. Those are the Chrysler drives of the game. Now we'll see Nate Jones make his 2015 debut. You see what he's done in his career. And this is a hard thrower, but he has gone through injury after injury, and he's coming back from a mid-right back strain, and that was right after he came back from Tommy John surgery. Reinstated from the 60-day DL prior to Wednesday's game, and he takes the roster spot of Daniel Webb, who went on the DL because of a mid-back strain.
Ooh, man, I'll tell you what. You better turn your bats up. This young man's bringing it. Interesting how he shows that the hitters the ball as he pauses. Right when he breaks his hands, he comes up there and holds that ball up high and lets her fly. Ooh, man, that's some cheese at the knees.
And he does have it, that last pitch, at 99 miles an hour. This is one of the arms that Robin Ventura wanted to have before he blew out his ulnar ligament. Needed to have it replaced. Boy, he's coming back throwing hard. Hosmer rolls one to short. Ramirez fires to first and records out number 1. Hey, let's go to the broadcast auction with Toby Cook.
Thanks, guys. Our broadcast auction is getting closer to an end now because we're going to end in the last out of the 9th. And we're hoping the last out of the 9th is after the top of the 9th, and the Royals still have a lead, but we still have time to bid on these auction items or go online and get the ticket packages. One of them that we love, he's been with us for the broadcast auction several years now. Meet and greet with Alex Gordon. This includes 4 batting practice passes, 4 Crown Club seats. You also get a parking pass. Alex Gordon with the Alex's Lemonade Stand and his emphasis on awareness for pediatric cancers. Just a great guy and a great ambassador for the Royals out into the community.
Indeed. And I saw also, Toby, that the broadcast auction was going for $9 grand now. It's picked up too. And Toby, could you tell us about the HDH guitar? How's that going?
We got well, it's somebody down in the clubhouse who doesn't like to be discussed. He's sort of our travel secretary and runs the clubhouse. Jeff Davenport and others made it possible to have this phenomenal guitar that celebrates HDH. Kelvin Herrera, Wade Davis, and Greg Holland. This custom-made guitar, HDH, includes 4 dugout box tickets along with this guitar. Ooh. And a parking pass. And that's been going well tonight, too. But the last 2 that we talked about, Gordon and the HDH guitar, we could use a little bump in those.
All right. Well, you see Nate Jones striking out the Royals' Morales. So 2 down here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And here are the current bids for the auction. You see 18 grand for the George Brett Experience with John Watson, as they'll have dinner with 4, and Instagram with Salvador going for 5,500. We've got 9,000 for the broadcast experience.
How about 10? Let's get it to 10.
Well, 10 for the bobblehead shadow box and meet and greet. Just great opportunities, and we're talking about the American League champions here. A team that right now is 9.5 games up on the Minnesota Twins. Minnesota did win, so they're now 9 games up. The Twins beat Cleveland 10-9, the final score. But if the Royals hold on and win this one, they'll hold on to their 9.5 game lead over the Twins. Moose 0 for 2 with a walk, a run scored.
All right, Fizz. Here's what I have to offer. I'll get one of my baseballs, and I'll have everybody on the broadcast crew, radio and TV, sign it.
All right.
And give it to the folks as a souvenir.
Including the Godfather, Denny Matthews?
Absolutely. He'll be on the sweet spot.
Mike rips it foul. Well, he's been out in front of 2 fastballs tonight. One that was powered about 100 feet foul, home run distance, and then this one lined sharply. Try to tie him up inside, but misses. Now the count is full, 3-2. Royals just 2-6 their last 8 games, and that was after playing great baseball, winning 16 of 21. 23 of the next 32 are at home, including this one. They love playing here. Everybody was all excited about coming home, hearing their fans roar. Beautifully pitched game by Edinson Volquez, who went 7 innings tonight and only gave up 1 run. And that ball ripped foul. So that's twice now he's gotten that bat head out on fastballs. Salvador Perez waiting his turn. 3 infielders in the right side, 1 man on the left. And that second baseman is really deep and right. Carlos Sanchez playing rover back. Then a swing and a miss, and Nate Jones with a brilliant return to the Chicago White Sox with a 1-2-3-2 strikeout 8. Here comes Greg. But KC came up with 2 in the 6th. And a reminder, Joel and Monty will be along with Boulevard Royals live after the ball game. And right now, with the Royals leading by 2, you know who comes out of the bullpen. Greg Holland, 23 saves, 3.03 ERA, and he will face hitters 5, 6, and 7. 2 power guys in Garcia and LaRoche, and then Ramirez, a speed guy. Garcia is 0 for 3, but Rex, he was maybe the defensive play of the night. Robbed of a hit with runners on base, 2 on, and Moustakas made a fantastic play at third base in foul territory, throwing a 1-hopper to Hosmer to end the 6th inning.
Yeah, it was one of the most beautiful plays we've seen from Moose this year. However, I've seen him make that play before, and if he misses that throw and it goes down the line, they would have scored 1, maybe 2. That'll just tell you how much These guys believe in themselves and how they can execute plays because they practice, they work at it, and they're the finest defense there is.
And if the Royals wrap it up here in the top of the 9th inning, that will end the bid. So the final out would end the bid. So get your final bids in. And Garcia going after the second pitch from Holland, and Rios is there for out number 1. You can still get this beautiful HDH guitar. Go ahead and bid on the Greg Holland, Wade Davis, Kelvin Herrera, and on the backside they've got the rest of the members of that bullpen. They were part of the Royals' success, winning the American League Championship last year.
What a Christmas present that'll make somebody. They'll be shocked because they have a keepsake for life.
Now Adam LaRoche, who has popped up, grounded out, and walked.
Fastball, sliders, occasional split fingers from the closer. Fastball's been clocked around 95 this year. Earlier part of the season, he was having some issues with his throwing arm. He was maybe topping out about 93, but he's been resting and then putting him in the right place at the right time. He's got his strength back.
Yeah, I really think Ned Yost and Dave Island have to be, and Doug Henry, the bullpen coach, have to be complimented for the way they've handled Greg to allow him to get back on beam and again become one of the premier closers in the game. Mid-90s fastball, one of the best sliders in the game. There's a 95-mile-an-hour heater. Greg worked around a walk and a hit on Saturday in Toronto for his 23rd save. Outside corner. 2-2. Now a 3-2 count. LaRoche has always shown a good eye, and he has 43 walks this year. He led off the 7th inning with a walk. Volquez in his final inning of work was able to get Ramirez on a line out and Sanchez on a 4-6-3 double play.
LaRoche 1 for 3 with a strikeout against Holland in his career.
Fights it off down the left field side, but foul. Greg has had great success against the White Sox in his career, posting a 1.36 ERA in 43 appearances, notching 24 saves and 5 wins. Hit well, deep right center field, and that baby is gone. It's a 1-run game.
Just the second home run off of Holland all year. And there it was. It was 86. Looked like a slider that didn't have a whole lot of depth to it. Just hung out over the plate. And LaRoche, he connected. And he did. Took that ball for a drink.
I'll tell you, the play of the night was the Moustakas' great defense, but also in that 8th inning, Chicago had runners on 2nd and 3rd and nobody out. Luke Hochevar bowed his next, struck out the next 2 batters, Saladino and Abreu. Morales came in, And there's a fly ball struck to right field, and Rios will take it for the second out. Morales got Cabrera on a fly out. But that was a huge moment in tonight's ball game, and now the Royals need one more out to nail down their 64th win of the year. The batter is the rookie Carlos Sanchez. And Sanchez 0 for 2 with a walk.
Folks, we got one more out to get those bids in. Please, now's the time to top the highest bidder. Let's go.
Moustakas in on the edge of the infield grass, respecting Sanchez's speed. Strike one.
It's a little 96.
Was that the slow boy?
Might have been. Got a curveball he'll throw up there in the 70s.
Well, he got that slider across from the outside corner.
And that was nice. Whew. Great spot. Sees on the upside of that ball there. Just perfect location. Salvi framing it up nicely.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Salvi wants that ball down on the ground. Make him swing over the top of it.
Instead, a base hit to left field.
Just leaving a few balls up.
Sanchez did not try and pull it.
Nope. Salvi wanted it down, and it was off the plate, but a nice, little short, compact swing.
A couple of those sliders have been hanging. So Sanchez will now come out, and they'll bring on Leury Garcia, who is a pinch runner. The batter will be Tyler Flowers. Flowers 1 for 2. The only time the Royals got him out was Lorenzo Cain's fine catch in left center field, leaping at the wall.
Got to be careful with this guy, Flowers. There you go. That's where he wants to keep it.
Flowers 7 home runs this year. He does strike out a lot. He has struck out 80 times this year. Now he's down 0-2. 80 strikeouts, Rex, in only 235 at bats.
Some good action there coming down and in. Flowers fortunate to get a piece of that one. He's got to execute a pitch away. Don't anything in. It's dangerous. Stay away from him.
He's struck him out. Game over. Ball in the dirt. A swing and a miss. Salvi with an accurate toss to Eric Hosmer. And Greg Holland nails down his 24th save this year. It's a great way to start this homestand, Hud, after the Royals went 4-6 on the road trip to Cleveland, Toronto, and Detroit.
Plus the broadcast auction, folks. Thank you so much for your contributions to Royals charity. And it's always great when you win and to see that man smile right there.
I'll tell you, you saw Ned Yost, and there's Casey with the salute for victory number 64. And great to see Ned smiling like that. He did a little hop for a high five on one of his Royals. And Ben Zobrist is one of the newest Royals with a good game, and he started that rally in the 6th inning with that line single, and the result was KC would score 2 runs in the inning.
How about Ben Zobrist, man? As he been a nice addition. Look at that handsy swing right there. Didn't do anything with his body hardly at all. He had good lower base, no question. But man, those hands coming through that strike zone. Beautiful job of hit by Zobrist.
Scored on Lorenzo Cain's double, and Ben is with Joel.
All right, had the single and a run, a walk, and a part of this Royals victory in front of a big home crowd. And Ben Zobrist, your first home game as a Kansas City Royal. You played on some really good teams. But I wonder, as this crowd officially welcomes you to Kansas City, what it's like playing in front of a packed house in August.
It's pretty cool, I'll tell you that. Nobody left all the way to the last out, and it's pretty awesome. I looked up in the stands in the last inning, and it's full, clear all the way up to the top, so it's pretty cool.
A week ago or so, you were not in a playoff race, and now here you are in first place. How much from a baseball standpoint has your life changed? You even got the organ to play after that one. Well, that's your second Salvador Perez ice bath. I was asking, how much has your baseball world changed?
Well, quite a bit, I would say. You know, walking into the clubhouse with these guys, you know, I've said it the last week, but these guys know how to win, and I'm just excited to be here. I get a chance to win alongside them, do what I can to help the club, and you know, it's great to get a win the first home game I got to experience here.
Last thing for you. You said that, you know, it took a couple days just to get used to these guys. They're already an established family. You've been here now over a week. How much a part of this do you feel as you join this team and you've been contributing every day?
You know, I feel great. You know, they've welcomed me with open arms, and these guys are professionals, and you know, I just want to do whatever I can to help this club get to the postseason and beyond. So I'm excited to be a part of the Royal Nation now.
Well, it's safe to say that a massive crowd in person and much more on TV has officially welcomed you to Kansas City. Great job tonight, Ben.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Ben Zobrist tips his cap. There will be many more for him here at Kauffman Stadium. Biz?
Great big first win, Joel, and it came on a Greg Holland strikeout to end it, his 24th save of the year. Ned with a little jump for Lorenzo Cain on the high five, and of course the ice bucket from Salvi to Ben.